Finding your voice, a singer's journey.
Hello everyone and welcome to Finding Your Voice, a Singer's Journey. Today we are joined by Luchi.
Hello.
Welcome to the show, Luchi. Luchi is a singer-songwriter from Italy who moved here to study and pursue a career in songwriting. She released her debut album last year called Alien Girl, which you should go and check out. It's incredible. She was also in a musical theatre show called Once, which we're really interested to know more about. We are so excited to have her on the show to chat about it and what she's been up to for the last year, and also what she's got planned for 2023.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me today.
So yeah, like the first question is sort of how would you describe yourself as an artist? Like we really love your description on Spotify, which is soul to the core, R&B in the stomach, jazz as a spray of perfume, and gospel all around, vintage pop. Would you expand on it a little?
Yes, so I feel like the hardest question to ask to an artist is to express who they are in just a few lines. So when I was asked that question and I had to release my album and present myself as an artist, I really struggled to understand what I should have said, because I feel like we are influenced by so many things that to just have one definition for ourselves is so limiting. So I kind of like tried to understand what all the music that I've been listening to since I was very young made me feel. And I realized that every genre that I've been listening to impacted a different part of me and in a way a different part of my body and my perceptions. So that's why I said soul to the core, for example, because that's just me to the core is soul music that I've been listening to since I was very young, and then R&B is a bit more of a thing that I've listened to when I was a bit more of a teenager, and it's not really like an influence, but it's something that I can feel in my stomach because it gives me some feelings that are kind of like unexplainable. And yeah, I guess every genre that I mentioned in this definition is something that I've been influenced by somehow, and they just influenced and impacted the way I'm writing. And then at the end, I sort of say vintage pop because yes, my music is very vintage in the way that I feel it's an old soul's music. But at the same time, it's pop because pop has surrounded me since I'm young, and we've grown up in the early 2000s. So we know what it felt like to, grow up on Disney Channel and YouTube music videos and stuff like that. So my songwriting, MTV, exactly. Music videos were a big thing, like when in the early 2000s. So yeah, I can't say that pop is not part of my music. So yeah, that's basically it.
Nice.
Yeah, I love how like it's a combination of all your influences and like. I don't know, the description on Spotify, I saw it and I was like, I love that. Like, It's just such like a nice way to like sum it all up. Like, it's really.
And I also love the way it's soul to the core, so it's kind of like the spray of perfume, it's just a jazz, so it is an influence, but it's not as core as the soul one, and R&B in the stomach. So I like the way you attached the style to a different part, and it's really good.
It's like it's an image of how if you would dress me from the toes to my hair, I would say that's, but not as clothes, as just me. I would just say that because
you'd be that.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be that definition.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you've talked about influences. Tell us a little bit about the people that influenced you the most.
As in artists.
The people and the sounds as well.
Yeah. So in terms of artists, I've been influenced by people as Adele, Amy Winehouse, Etta James, Nina Simone, Paolo Nutini. So, and I've tried to understand what they all have in common, and I think it's the fact that whether they speak about like metaphorical stuff or they talk about real things that happened to them, it's always related to the way it made them feel, and it's related deeply to feelings and love in every way.
So they influence you in the way they write.
Yes,
mainly.
absolutely. The way they write, but also the way they sing, because it's a very emotional way of singing, and they all have in common also the fact that they are letting their feelings sing in a certain way. So, for example, they hit a high note or they keep a note for a long time, and it's maybe on that word that is going to hit you in the feels. So I just love that everything is kind of coherent, from the melodies to the lyrics to the people they are.
Being so personal, the songwriting, it does affect your voice as well and the way you sing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And they don't do it in the most technical way, perhaps, but they do it in a way that it's authentic to them and the people they are. So that's why they influenced me the most.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of like showing their soul, I guess, which is sort of what your music's all about. It's like very true to who you are and like expressing that through your music.
Exactly. I don't want to use letting your soul speak a lot, but that's exactly what's the core of, for me, songwriting and being a musician is.
And how did it all start? When did you know you wanted to be an artist? And how did you made your first baby steps into the music industry?
Yeah, so I think the first memory that I have of me wanting to do this in my life is very early when I was a child. So I was like 4 years old, and I remember I was driving in my car with my parents, and we were all singing this song together. And
Do you remember which song is it?
yes.
I do.
I don't remember specifically the song, but I think it was something from an Italian songwriter, which is Ligabue.
Okay, yeah.
I don't even know if it was because my parents picked it or it was on the radio. We just all sang it together, and I was like, wow, it feels like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I remember that after that I have all these videos of me in my grandparents' house, and I'm like doing already like shows for my grandpa, and it's like I don't even know how, but it felt like I needed to do that. And then just when growing up, I was very influenced by Hannah Montana and High School Musical. And that's when I started like saying, okay, maybe, because they were so young, I was like, maybe I can do it as well. And from there, I then understood how I could maybe record my first covers, and I went to a studio. And then I remember the first time a teacher in middle school, actually I started writing songs when I was like in elementary school. I was like 10 years old, but I was doing it a cappella. So it was very much like by memory. And then in middle school, a piano teacher that I had, she said, can you play that melody again for me? I sang it, and she played it on the piano, and I swear I started crying, because I was like, whoa, it can be translated into instruments. And slowly I just then went into, learning about chords and how I could write songs, but also being accompanied by the piano. And from there it just was very smooth, but it went from being young and do it for fun to into maybe potentially have a career and, make it my whole life.
And when did you move to London, and why? What moved you to come here?
So when I started recording my music, I was still in Italy, and I've done it for a few years. But I think I've always been fascinated with London and New York. These were my two cities where I really wanted to go and explore what the music industry was there. And after a few years that I was doing music in Italian and in Italy, I just felt like I reached like a wall. So I felt like I needed to take advantage of the fact that I was young, and I needed to find my university, and I said, okay, this is the perfect moment to just go and explore what I've always wanted to do. And that's why I moved to London. And I also think it's because the music industry is influenced by English music the most. So I've grown up listening to English music, and I just wanted to know what it was all about. And I probably the reason why I'm still here is because it is great, and it's much better than in Italy, even though I love Italian music.
What do you think is the difference between the two industries, the Italian music scene and here?
Yeah, definitely the variety. There's much more options, many more options.
Here, you mean?
Here. And also for smaller independent artists, there's so much more space to just express themselves without having to be, having to go and do the big shows or have the big budgets. So
and having to be dependent by a label, like finding a manager, finding the label supporting you. Here is much more. It's easier to be independent, fully independent in a way, no?
Yeah, it is, absolutely. And I feel like now Italy is really growing in that sense, because I feel like now independent artists have much more of a platform. But still, when I moved here, I was mind blown by the fact that I could just go on a random Wednesday night playing my songs to people on a stage, and I could have that platform without having to be this big thing organized by a big organizer. And that's I think that helps a lot with finding your own identity, because you have many more opportunities to just go and make mistakes and explore, rather than do it in your little studio maybe and not ever expose that to the world outside. University, to start in a new country, is a good way of starting, because kind of gives you that trampoline to jump into the real world. And especially when you come from somewhere else and you don't really know anybody or the culture, go in a place like ICMP where there's many cultures, so you don't feel alone in the discovery of this new place.
And being alone in a way as well. Like you're not alone being alone, if it makes sense.
Absolutely.
So you bond really quickly and really strongly in a way.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I think even after we graduated, we still kind of have this community. It's because we kind of became each other's family. So yeah.
And talking about family, your band and your music, how did you find them? And did you have like a process of like auditioning? I want this type of sound for the bass, this type of sound for the drums, or did it just came together?
So it came together because we were all doing the same university. But I have to say that when I was in my first year of university, I was looking for a band, and my housemate, she had this friend that was playing bass, and she said, I really like how he plays, is very good, but also he's a very good person. So you might want to have a talk with him and then just figure out how to put all the other pieces together. So first of all, I met my bass, like the bassist that I play with, Charles.
Shout out to Charles
Buell. Hello. And then we had this meeting, and he said to me, I have a few musicians that I really like to play with. I can just introduce you to them. And we got together and we got to play my songs for a specific gig that I had. It was my first gig with the band. And then from there, we just sort of started arranging my songs for live shows. And we got so attached to the sound that then it just came naturally to say, okay, let's also record what we did for the live in the studio. So yeah, it was all through university, but I would say with a good help from Charles and from the band, we just managed to create this sound that was then my first album, Alien Girl.
That is your sound for Alien Girl.
Exactly.
Nice.
And tell us a bit about the album. How did it begin? What song was the first song?
Yeah. So I think talking about university and how everybody felt kind of alone but together. I think that's how my first collection of tracks, which is Alien Girl, came to be, because it's really like all the songs that I wrote my first period being in London. And it's called Alien Girl because that's kind of how I felt. And now that I look back at it, it's kind of how I felt when I was in Italy and I felt like I didn't belong there. But also it kind of felt the same when I came here. And I did find my community. I did find people that I really got along with. But at the same time, I was an alien because I was coming from another country. So
an alien girl both when you were in Italy and when you arrived here.
Exactly. And just like try to embrace this concept of, try to find my identity and go through experiences, both with friends, in relationships, and with myself, kind of like shape my identity in a way. And yeah, it kind of, I didn't think about it when I was writing the songs, but when I looked back at them, and especially like when we found with the band the ones that we liked the most, it kind of all made sense. So yeah, if you listen to the album from beginning to the end, it's kind of one whole song, one big song. Even the tracks, if you listen to them from start to finish,
in the order.
Yes, if you listen to them in order, they are all connected. The album never stops, so they're all connected one after the other, and I think that's a good representation of the fact that it's kind of like a story of my first year here. And I always say that Alien Girl is a story about community, roots, and love, which is exactly what I've gone through the first years that I lived in London, and that kind of like shaped my identity as I am now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So is Alien Girl the first one you wrote, or?
No, the first one I wrote is Care For You.
Care For You.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why like the people that know me and know my music, probably the first song that comes to their mind is Care For You. Because I've played it since I wrote it, I've played it everywhere. Everybody knows it. It's always gonna have a special place in my heart. I wrote it on a couch in ICMP with my phone, which I don't ever do. I always am at the piano, and I was just like recording on my voice memos. And yeah, it's like, I remember that it was hard to write. First lines was very easy. Yeah. And then going into the song, it took me probably like 2-3 weeks to really write it. And I think because it was my first song in London, I kind of have this romantic idea of it, that it was kind of a rebirth. So it took me a long time because it was the first of a new life. So yeah, I gave birth to a new child, a new era. I don't know.
Nice. And I love also the artwork that is behind Alien Girl. So being an independent artist, what is the things that you had to go through that you didn't think you would have? And probably the visual of the album is one of those, no?
Yeah. So actually thinking about the visuals, it would have been easy if it wasn't that when you are an independent artist, you're kind of like brought to think that you have to, of course, it's not just that you're brought to think that, but it's also true that you also have to be your business partner. And for someone that like I'm kind of a daydreamer, so I always like to think about life in a very romantic way. And when I needed to promote my album and think about all that the promotion needed, to go and think about it in a business way, or try to, I don't know, brand myself and stuff like that, it was very hard. So it would have been easy if it wasn't that for the longest time I thought I had to be this specific person. I had to follow a color palette, define myself in 3 words, and only act in a certain way, which was the complicated side of it. But then when at some point I was just like, okay, if I keep doing this, I won't survive this whole process. So I'm just gonna do what it feels right. And I remember I think I was half asleep, and I just had the vision of this alien with kind of like astronaut, how do you know how to call it? Helmet, yeah. And I was like, wow, yeah, I need to find someone that can help me with this vision that I had. Yeah. And that's when I found Ines, and she's super talented, and I think she's the right amount of weird that I needed. So yeah, we went for that. And the funny thing is that the people that don't know the album, they look at the artwork and they say, wow, you do psychedelic music. And I'm like, no. But I don't care, you know, it's who I am. And if a part of me is psychedelic, then be it. But yeah, so that's, if there's one thing that I would say to people that are promoting their music for the first time, is to not take it too seriously, because in the sense that you don't have to turn into this whole identity that your music is. That's just a chapter of your life. Yeah. So the more you kind of release the pressure, the more it's gonna be effective, and it's gonna have a good amount of success and credibility. But the more you try to become that one definition, the more it's gonna be stressful for you to kind of like go through the whole process, especially if you are an artist.
Yeah,
so
nice. I guess it like stifles your creativity as well. Like it stops you from being able to kind of go in a different direction, or like experiment with something if you're always worried about fitting into like this box that you've created for yourself in a way. Exactly.
And that's why like I for a few months I've just become this businesswoman. And I wasn't able to write a song or be creative, because what I could think about was sending emails, doing a press release, and branding and content, blah, blah, blah. And it's hard to then go back to being creative. So the more you take it lightly, and, you know, it is what it is. And the more you take it as a game, the more I think it's going to be easy to juggle between the different things that you have to be as an independent artist. Yeah.
Really nice.
We have a little game for you. Sing the song with the lyric.
Yeah.
Okay. So you pick one paper, there's a word written in it, and you have to sing a song where the word has been said.
Okay. Skin. Okay. Your skin, your skin and bones. Do I have to?
No, you can throw.
I actually am good at this game usually, because that's what I do in my life anyways. People don't even talk to me anymore. Hell no.
Okay, I think it can work. Give us a bit more.
Say no, that's heaven, it's not hell.
Different place.
No. Yeah,
you do it, you go for it, don't
I feel my hands up, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
Feeling good as hell. Oh, nice. Wow. Okay, I did it. Right. I don't know if I should check. Right. Ride my heart through the night.
I don't know this.
It's Miley Cyrus, but I don't think she says that. I am horrible. Sweet melody. No, I don't.
I don't know it.
Well, it's a song. I promise. Father. Heavenly Father. I've just invented it.
Okay. You got one that's like...
You liked it though.
I liked it. I'm thinking...
Father.
No, Father, help us. Yeah. Some guidance from above.
Run fast for your mother, run fast for your father, run for your sisters.
Nice. Now we go to the juicy part, which is the vocal related part we all want to know about.
Yes, I am stressed, guys, with you to be talking about vocal health. Yeah.
Vocal health, vocal technique.
Okay.
Your voice being the instrument you use to communicate, to express yourself, to express your emotions and everything. So as a songwriter as well, I really do care a lot about the way I sound, not just what I say in a way.
Yeah.
Like with the Once musical, I guess, because that was sort of, you had to sing night after night. And how did you find that in terms of like, did you have to build like a new routine or like how was that on for your voice?
So I think, I don't know why, but I entered this very healthy phase of my life when I was there and I was doing the musical. And I didn't think I was doing it particularly only for the musical. I think I was doing it for myself. Yeah. But I did notice that, for example, I sometimes struggle with reflux. And that's my biggest issue with my voice, is that when the reflex is coming in, my voice is gone and I can't sing. Yeah. So what I did during those months is that I quit on alcohol, and that really affected positively my voice. Yeah. So that was one thing, and then I ate very healthy. So, and I made sure that I didn't overeat every meal that I was doing, and that also helps with reflux. So that was my main issue. But then also, whenever I wasn't rehearsing or doing the shows, I was trying to rest as much as possible, so I wouldn't really do many things to stress myself. And I guess being in the countryside really helped, because I was walking everywhere. I didn't have to take all the tubes and trains and buses, so it was a very relaxing lifestyle. So yeah, I didn't really,
even though it was more stressful for your voice than usual.
Absolutely, it was, because I had to sing every day. It was good. I was lucky because it was very comfortable in my range.
Okay, nice.
So I didn't have to always put that much effort into singing. It was very relaxed. But I did have to pay attention to how I was living my life. And that's when I noticed that, to do this job, you will have to commit 24/7 every moment of your life. It's not just when you're on the stage or when you're rehearsing. It's really like your life has to change for
anything you do affects your instrument in a way.
Exactly. Nice. Especially as vocalists, as singers, we do have like this connection with our body, and it's very important that we take care of it. And it's really hard to keep a healthy lifestyle every day of the year. But for those 3 months, I can definitely say that proved that when you have a good lifestyle, it affects so many things in your life and in your music career. So I would recommend.
And how has that impacted on your lifestyle now?
I know that if I commit to something for my health, it's going to have a good impact. And I feel like it also gave me more of trust that I can handle, or I can do things that I didn't think I could do. So putting myself up to this challenge of doing a musical, which is something that I never did before, was really like a big what if I don't succeed, what if am I gonna be good enough?
For your self-confidence was a big boost.
It was a big boost. And now I'm like, when I'm presented with something new that I've never done before, I know that I can be that person that does things that are outside of my comfort zone. And I think everybody is. We just need that, that opportunity to prove ourselves. That.
And like giving yourself that opportunity, and not just kind of not even trying in a way.
Absolutely. And when I got offered to do this musical, I kind of went in autopilot, because if it was for me, I would have been like, why me? I've never done it, so I think you got the wrong person. But I just said, yes, why not? I mean, if you are sure, I'll do it.
Nice. So you let yourself.
Yeah, I just let myself do it, and it kind of like was a good life lesson. So
nice. Were you warming up daily? Like, how was your daily routine?
Yeah, that is a good question, because warming up also makes a difference. We were always doing a physical and vocal warm up every day, and it kind of like put us in this good mindset, a healthy mindset, both vocally and physically. We felt more relaxed and warmed up, I guess. So yeah, I was doing that, and it would help even in the moments where I wasn't feeling my best with my voice. And yeah, that's part of what I was saying before, that I proved myself that also warming up your voice is something that is going to help. And we should all do it in our own music as well. As a songwriter, you think, we talked about this other times, I have learned how to sing my own songs and how to place the sounds depending on my voice, and I created those melodies, so I did it in a way that is comfortable. And in a way you give for granted that you have to do warm-ups because you're just comfortable doing a thing that you have created. But it's still important to do it, even though you are in charge of everything that you're doing. It's still important because it gives you a more stability and more of a support.
And also kind of a choice as well. So rather than having to sound that way because that way works, you can also decide maybe to, I don't know, as a stylistic choice, flip more into your head voice, whatever, like make a stylistic choice of changing to keep the song interesting for yourself and the audience. And
I guess also when you're not feeling your best and you're still doing your music, there's so many parts in my songs that I can reach or I can touch when I am feeling my best, but there's moments where I'm not feeling my best, and even though it's my song, I can't reach it. So the fact that that you can maybe take it in a different voice, or you can take it lightly, it doesn't have to be belted. It can also be soft. It gives you the ability to be more flexible. So it's important.
Nice. And do you still have a warm-up routine right now?
I do, and it depends on how my voice is feeling in that moment. I tend not to do much of I tend to probably try and relax my vocal cords as much as possible, warm them up without having to actually sing. So most of what I do is my I do a lot of or try to unlock my breathing and make it as relaxed as possible. And then it depends sometimes, because of my reflex or because of how my vocal cords are, sometimes I miss all of my top area of my voice. So I try to do exercises that kind of strengthen it a bit more. But I try not to go into those very sung exercises before show. So
nice. That sounds good. It sounds like you got what's good for your voice and how to get the most out of your voice, which is the most important.
Exactly. But I want to be honest and say I don't always warm up.
Let's be honest.
Keeping it real, but it's important. It's important to do it, and I definitely notice the difference when I do and when I don't. So it's good.
And what would you say is one of your favorite things about your voice? This is
a tricky question.
I feel like because I have a raspy voice, people would expect me to say my raspy voice, my tone. And actually, I thought about it when I was coming here. And even though I recognize that it's a good asset to have and probably makes 95% of my vocal personality, but for me, when I'm singing, from my perception of when I'm singing, the best is when I can just sing those powerful notes, very heartfelt and powerful.
That's what I was going to, if I had to answer that question, that's what I would say about your voice. I know there's moments in your performance where you connect, you go into your own zone. Yeah, it's really powerful and really strong.
Oh, thank you. That's, and it does feel, it's more of it's not even in the sound, it's in the feeling that I have in my mouth and my face. It's that feeling of, oh my God, it's all like, it's like this alternation between compression and decompression. It's almost like addictive. It's amazing. It's a good feeling, and I like that. And I always loved those singers that could belt their heart out on those high notes, and I feel like that's something that I would like to explore more and to have more in my own voice, because I love belting, but my belting is how do you say, relatively lower than what belting would.
Like you could develop a bit more your belting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think would give me even more of this like good feeling of power and strength. So
I would say next time you have one of those feelings, just try to detach from yourself and be like, what is it that it's making it so good? And try feeling like the space. You mentioned compression and decompression, how, why, and try to feel it so that you can reproduce it more often in a way. That could be a
like, why is everything working? Like, because to create that sound, I guess everything, and it, in a way for me, I mean, if it ever happens to me, like I always feel like it feels like a bit like you're flying. Like your voice is like soaring, and you have that really free feeling.
Yeah.
To create that and to create that sensation, like what's happening.
Yeah. It's like, it's a it's contradiction, because it feels like you are like freeing yourself, so you should be more relaxed. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, it's such a, probably in my head, it's such an unreachable thing that I get more stressed. But actually, it's like the more you relax, the more you can access that. So it's all about tricking your brain.
For those high notes, yes.
Especially because sometimes singers can give you that feeling almost as if you are doing it. Like I remember when Christina Aguilera was singing "Bound to You," and I was like, I feel it so much when she sings it that I just would like to do it myself, so I could feel it physically as well. And so you have this kind of separation between what you would like to do and how you would like to do it, and the fact that probably vocally you're still having to work and
you don't know how to approach it.
Exactly. So that's why I probably sing my own songs, because I can just sort out whatever by myself and with my own music.
We all have the things that we're like strongest at, like the different areas that we're strongest at, and naturally you are going to have your own sound, and but I think that's what you need in a way to be a songwriter. You need to have your own strengths and your own sound. But I guess the power of technique is like being able to kind of experiment with new things as well, and like say, try something and be like, is that my sound? Is that what I want to portray? And then if it's not, then you can, but there's always the choice. Sort of what should we expect from you for the rest of the year? Where do people find you on social media and everything like that?
So I'm trying to kind of like explore a new part of my identity musically and as a songwriter. So I think people can expect something completely different, or as I'm trying, not completely, but I'm still going to apply to that definition of who I am as a songwriter, but I just want to explore it in a way that I haven't done with my previous album. It's definitely going to be even more introspective. So if my first album, Alien Girl, was really like a new discovery of a new place and new feelings, new emotions, and it was quite like uplifting, this new music is going to be more introspective and a bit darker, because things got a bit darker as life happens. So
ups and downs.
And it's just going to be more mature, I think, because I've just like, as you grow up, you kind of like see things in different ways, and it's not all sunshines and rainbows. So also still in my own way, because I like to uplift people with my music, but at the same time touching on topics that are a bit more serious or a bit more introspective. So that's what people can expect. It's definitely not going to come out as a whole album again. It's going to be an experience, one song after the other. That's how I want to do it.
So more like single release.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking at the moment. I might change my mind, but it's because I want to treat every single as a little step forward. So
if Alien Girl was a section of your life, now you want kind of more of a step-by-step.
Exactly. I feel like Alien Girl was when I came out with Alien Girl, it was already a story that happened and was sealed. So it was the story of the first years that I was here, but I was already living what I'm going to release now. So that made sense to be all together. I feel like the more you grow up, the more you evolve faster. And I don't know, I just like to see it now as not as a block of evolution, but like step-by-step journey. So
as things happen,
exactly, even more in the moment, you know. So which with music and releases is very hard because you work on something for such a long time that you don't even remember where you started and how you felt when you started it. But yeah, I'll try as much as I can to do that.
Nice. And out of curiosity, instrumentation wise, are we feeling something new?
In a way, I wanted to sound a bit more minimal, but in the minimal aspect, I want everything to have a purpose.
Okay, nice.
So it's minimal, but it's complete. That's all I.
Okay, I like how vague it is.
It's something for me.
Definitely.
Exactly.
We can't know everything before.
Exactly. If you want, you can find my music on Instagram and Spotify. My name is Luchi, Luchi. And on Instagram, you find me at Luchi Official.
Nice. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna have a little play with one of Luchi's song from Alien Girl. So hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah. Nice, I'm excited.
Amazing.
I wanna be the wind again so I can touch you one more time. And if I see you kiss her, I promise I'll be alright. 'Cause you make it seem like you've never gone, but you make me feel so alone. And now I see you smile. I wish I could feel better than you. I know that it's not right. If only you'd be sadder without me. I wanna see you cry. I'm angry as the weather. Why can't I be the sky? Why can't we be together? Why can't we be together?
Thank you for listening to Finding Your Voice, a Singer's Journey. This podcast has been brought to you by Vocal Venture. Follow us on all social media platforms at Vocal Venture to become a part of our community. Join us next week for another inspiring chat.
Finding your voice, a singer's journey.